Hello. So we're out on the Appalachian Trail today, and I know I've been wanting to make a video just telling you guys a little bit about the Appalachian Trail. Dawn and I have hiked 12 miles, I think. And we are at Stover Creek Shelter. You can see the shelter behind me. It's a beautiful trail. The weather has been beautiful. So the Appalachian Trail was built in 1937, and it is a 2,190 mile trail that goes from Springer Mountain, Georgia to Catoctin, Maine, which is a tall mountain up in Maine. About 3 million people hike on it every year. 3,500 people attempt to hike the whole thing about a year. We think there will be more out here this year, and it's interesting because there's more women on the trail this year than men. Out of those 3,500 that hike, usually about 1/4 of them make it all the way. And in order to make it all the way, I would have to hike 10 miles a day, maybe a little bit more than that, so that's not too bad. Most people try to do it in 4 to 6 months. I'm trying to have just a little bit more than 6 months. I'm starting in March, and you can hike all the way till about October 14th. So that's my goal. There's shelters. People are always asking a lot of questions. Where do you stay? So there are shelters scattered along the trail. I want to say there's 260 shelters along the trail. So usually every 5 miles or so you'll come across one. You can see it in the background there. Usually 8 to 12 people can sleep in a shelter. And then all around the shelter, people camp. And so I'm camping. I'm staying in a hammock. There's usually a privy, which is a very simple outhouse. You can usually see people's feet, and it's very nasty, but at least it's a place you can go out of the woods. And then there's usually a water source somewhere nearby where you can purify your water. I'm using a Sawyer squeeze to purify my water, and we usually carry about 2 liters with us. On the Appalachian Trail, they say you gain 500,000 feet. You gain more feet on this trail than you do on the Pacific Trail. And that's like climbing Mount Everest from the very bottom to the very top, sea level to the top 16 times. So you're going up and down, up and down, up and down. We're already discovering that. There's 3 trails that are really popular in America that are very long, and they make up the Triple Crown. So there's the Continental Divide and the Pacific Trail Crest, and then the Appalachian. So the Appalachian is set up easier for through hikers because every 5 days or so you come across a town where you can restock. There's 2 sections where you have to go almost 10 days without a town, so you have to carry 10 days worth of food. That's the Smokies and up in the New Hampshire and the White Mountains. So those 2 sections are a little bit longer. People are always asking me, isn't it dangerous? And if you were able to be out here, you'd discover there's lots of really nice people that you hike with. And a lot of people develop what they call tramily, which is like a trail family. And you kind of connect at the campgrounds or at the towns, and that offers you some security. Also, bears. Yes, they say almost every hiker will see at least 1 black bear, but there's a fatality from black bears once about every 10 years, and that could be anybody, not just Appalachian Trail hikers. On the actual trail, like I told you, 3 million people are hiking it a year on the trail during a year, and there's usually 2 or 3 deaths on the trail, and that's usually from the elderly having a heart attack or stroke. That's the number 1. Or hypothermia or lightning strike. We will run into thunderstorms a lot, and when that happens, you just stay in your tent or you hike through it. That's what they do out here. What's my biggest fear? I've been asked that. My biggest fear is actually not being able to finish. So far, I'm feeling great. A few days before, I wasn't feeling too hot. I did have a back injury a few years ago and couldn't walk very far at all for 6 months. Couldn't get to the end of my driveway, and I can still have pain pop up, and that scares me. So my biggest fear is just not being able to finish. Aside from that, it would be cold. I hate being cold. Last night it got down near freezing, and we were really comfortable in the hammock, and so hopefully I don't have to suffer too much from the cold. What will I miss the most during the 6 months? Probably my husband, first of all, and then my church family, and my dog. I don't feel like I get to see my kids a ton, but I'll still miss my kids. I might be able to see one of them out here a little bit more, so that would be kind of nice. I do hope to go to church on a lot of Sundays, to find a little country church. I'm going to try to make my Sundays a little bit easier. And I've decided I'm hiking my own hike. So, if I discover my body can only do 8 miles a day when my goal was 12, then I'll do 8 miles a day. And I'll get as far as I can. And if I don't get all the way to Maine, maybe next year I'll come back and do a few weeks to finish. So I'm trying not to stress myself out or trying not to keep up with everybody else, and I think that's important. I'm looking forward to just being alone and in the wilderness. A lot of people say, why do you hike the Appalachian Trail? I discovered this trail 25 years ago. I love the woods. I love the solitude and the nature and the outdoors, and I feel like I've worked really hard so far in my life, so to just take a break and to be alone, to experience God a little bit more, and to do something I love in a place I love. I've always liked a challenge. Sometimes I wonder why I hurt myself, why I do some of those things, but I like the challenge, and I like how it feels when you overcome and what you learn from it. So that would probably be why I'm doing it. I'm extremely thankful for my family and my husband supporting me, letting me do this, and my church family that has been so supportive, friends. And so I just thank all of you for that. And I hope that you can just experience a little bit by following along, watching the videos. So thanks, and I'll see ya.